You step into the central courtyard of Shadow Valley Fort, where formations are practiced and the troops can be reviewed. From this central area, you can get a good look at the outpost where you've been stationed. It's not a large fort. It's been constructed only recently. There aren't many soldiers about. A lot of them are probably on patrol or keeping the peace, but this fortress is also clearly staffed at far less than capacity. As you look around, you notice that the other soldiers seem to be watching you. Nothing overt, just the occasional surreptitious peek. They aren't friendly glances either. They seem nervous about your presence. An understaffed fort you've never heard of, full of edgy, uncomfortable soldiers. Even considering the rebellion raging to the east, this is still very unusual. Fortunately, headquarters are at the north end of this courtyard. As you approach the commander's office, the door opens and someone starts to emerge. You stand out of the way and watch. The person limping out of the commander's office was a Roman scout, probably reporting back from a reconnaissance mission. The muddy stains on his armor and cloak tell you that much. However, that isn't what gets your attention. What you really notice are the fresh marks on his armor. There are scratches from barely deflected weapon blows. Not too odd. There are also what look like claw marks on his legs, and scorch marks on his chest and arms, as if he was blasted by bursts of flame. The scout looks like he has barely escaped a very unusual ambush. He turns, looks you over, and smirks, as if daring you to ask what has happened to him. What happened to you? Shadow Vale happened, and we are all suffering through it. Go see the commander. You'll bear your marks soon enough. He decides that he's been sufficiently unhelpful and heads to the smithy to get his gear repaired. Okay then. That happened. Shadow Valley Fort headquarters. Well, first I'm just curious. Commander's quarters, I guess. You step into the commander's quarters. Understandably, they're much nicer than the other living chambers you've seen. A stone floor, for example. This room doesn't look very lived in, though. It's furnished, but in a clinical, untouched sort of way. It's as if the commander spends most of his time elsewhere, perhaps in his office. We'll leave it alone. Okay, that one we can go in. There's not going to be anything we need in there. Now that's the way out. We can't leave yet. Nothing in there we can take or get. That's a big structure. That's the west gate. The healthy smell of fresh sweat greets you. You step into Shadow Valley Fort's training rooms. You walk over a polished wooden floor, speckled with the dried blood of recent trainees. Here is where young soldiers come to have the wisdom of the battlefield beaten into them. This is where I can come to pay to learn certain special skills. Oh. I can always train normally, though. Ooh, helmets! Yes. Helmets would be extremely useful. Crude dagger, iron longsword. That's actually better than the iron short sword we got here. Though now that I think about it, small wooden shield. He's not going to be able to cast, heavy spells, I think, because I didn't take the right thing. Damn it. You easily recognize the grim, harried demeanor of a centurion concerned about the condition of his troops. Once a soldier is posted to a fort, it takes constant effort and vigilance to keep him in fighting shape. The centurion looks you over with something almost resembling approval. Almost, but not quite. Irenaeus, welcome to the practice hall. I can train you if you need it. What is your main duty at the fort? I'm trying to keep the troops here in shape. I bring them here, work them, and send them crawling back to their barracks. Do the soldiers need to get into shape? He tilts his head and grins. Listen, you can hear muscles softening around here. Armor bulging from the flab pushing out from the inside. Lately, the troops have been getting soft and weak. Do I look weak? You look well worked. You've been on the march recently, I can tell. Still, feel free to use this hall for practice. It never hurts to spend time sharpening one's skills. It's the Roman way. Never rest. Keep pushing on. Do they actually have to crawl back? Oh, I swear, the soldiers are getting feebler every year. He picks up a medicine ball and gives it a few careless tosses. These days, I hardly have to work them at all before they break. So you keep them from getting too soft. Well, this is just an ordinary fort, as I'm sure you know. So the troops are slowing down, getting complacent. Nothing unusual. If I don't punish them a bit, they'll be no good to the Empire when the battle comes. Still risking your neck in Shadow Vale, eh? Need any training? What sort of training do you offer? I have learned much of many crafts. I am always trying to learn more lore so that I can share it with my fellows in the Legion. That is why I enjoy being stationed here. There is unusual lore here, lore that isn't corrupted, that a true Roman can benefit from, and I pay those who would share what they find with me. I would like to see what you can teach me. Oh, he can base wood scrap. No, I didn't mean to. Uh-oh. Helps you avoid outdoor wandering monsters and find potion-making herbs. Well, okay, that happened. And the more money I get when selling items, and most of the rest we know. Okay, I didn't mean to buy that. Oops. I'll keep that in mind. You will pay for lore. Tell me more. Most of the barbarians of Britannia don't read or write. Savages. But some of the people in Nethergate can write in some strange runic language. Mostly they record their nonsense tales and legends. Sometimes, however, their writing is more valuable. As you undertake missions for the commander, watch out for scrolls with their savage language and bring them to me. If they contain useful information, I will share it with you. You can understand their writing? No, but Gaius can. He's old and he's getting weak, but he's learned a lot in his years out here. You can usually find him in the mess hall. That's all we need. And we have a quest. You can see quests on the character info screen. Right there. Yeah, there we are. Sextus. Let's avoid making any jokes. This is a young soldier barely out of training. He barely needs to shave, and his armor doesn't quite fit right. He's probably about 17, but one thing is out of place. His eyes look like they belong to an older person. Much, much older. He is trying to purge his experience with exercise. Sweat pours down his face as he practices his spins and parries. When you approach him, he ceases his efforts only with clear regret. I am Sextus. Greetings. His voice is soft and quiet, and he refuses to meet your eyes. He looks tired. What is your rank? I am just of elite. That's practically the lowest grade of soldier, not even allowed to march in formation with the more experienced warriors. I'm recently arrived here from Rome. It is quite a surprise. You've never met anyone from Rome before. The mighty capital of the empire seems impossibly distant. What do you hope to accomplish? I hope to perform well in a local campaign and to make a noble name for myself. His words come slowly and unsteadily. His discomfort at speaking with you is palpable. How was Rome when you left? If Sextus looked uncomfortable before, he becomes about ready to crawl out of his skin when you mention Rome. He doesn't even respond, he just shuffles from foot to foot. Sextus stares at you quietly. The young soldier seems to be in the awkward position of not wanting to talk, but being tired of being alone. I'm trying to get training. I can't train you, I haven't the rank or skills. Gnaeus is in the next room. Okay then. Cudgel, javelin, dagger. Ah, spear! Spear, spear, spear. Okay. Let's see. You will have a spear. You can take that, and that is going to be sold. And you put on that shield. Okay. Switch back to that. I'm just looking around a bit. Before we go in there, I'm going to take a look around at the rest of the places, because that's how I do things. Attention Quartermaster. Attention visitors, buying and selling available. Ooh, nice. I can buy. Good. Many people hold power in a Roman fortress, in varying degrees, but the Quartermaster is the master of his own vital domain. He controls the tools and weapons by which soldiers live or die, and is generally treated with the utmost respect. Unfortunately, as often happens with people of his ilk, he is unhappy to see you. He knows that you only come to drain his resources. Call me Quintius. Welcome to my storehouse, and don't get your hopes up. I don't give charity. Any equipment you want beyond that, the Tribunus Militium specifically says you'll have to trade for it. What does your quartermaster do? I keep track of the supplies and make sure everyone gets just enough to do their job, but no more. I think you should know just how lucky your position is. Anything you want to sell me? How are your supplies holding out? Well, we're out here in the wilderness, and for the most part we need to look after ourselves. I have to do all sorts of trading and scrounging to get the equipment we need just to get by. For that matter, it's a huge bother just to get fresh meat. Well, where do you get fresh meat from? Let's just say we aren't the first Roman fort to be fed mainly by the little animals of the forest, or anywhere else we can find them. That reminds me, if you ever need rations, I can give you your allotment. I'll take my rations now. He gives you a small loaf of stale bread. There you go. Come back in a day or two and I'll have another bundle for you. Who do you trade with to get your equipment? I have to trade a lot with the Brigantes. That's the local tribe. And with anyone who walks by. And passing caravans. Or pretty much anyone. You know, you're lucky with what with all you're getting. But I'm allowed to do some more trading on top of that. If you'd like to do some barter to purchase more supplies, let me know. You can sell me some things too. Okay. Why am I lucky? Well, we have to scrounge for much of our equipment. We look out for ourselves out here. However, good old Commander Vibius himself has said that I should find you bonus items. I guess you're all pretty special. Who knows why? Don't you get regular shipments from Rome? You know, I mostly keep to myself and look for supplies. I'm not really told much. I just do what the commander says. We shouldn't get much equipment, especially for a fort of this size. I don't know why we aren't sent more, but, well, it's not my business to worry, but to take care of the problem, and I do. What sort of bonus item can I get? Quintus walks over to a pile of sacks of grain and searches under it. After a bit of searching, he finds a flask and brings it over to you. Here you go. Come back when you finish another mission, and I might have something else for you. He also gives you several healing potions. Just so you aren't killed too early. I would like to see your weapons and armor. Oh good, we can sell things anytime. Haste draught and healing draughts. Nice. But we can sell that, that, and I think those are good. That's pretty much all the loot we have. Bracers, gauntlets, helmets, shields, excellent. Boots. We have armor. Yeah, no slings. Where are the slings? I want the bloody slings. Ah. General supplies. Lockpicks. If I had the coin, I'd... Oh, actually, I do have the coin. I could buy another set. I'm very tempted. No, I think we'll be fine for now. Yeah. Leave the door alone. We're not going to pick any locks in here right now. Actually, no, that would be the same thing. Okay, fine. Let that be. Leave the door alone. That's the kitchen. Gaius. Oh, we were told about him. You meet an old man, maybe even well into his 40s. He's a camp follower, one of the many old soldiers who hang around the fortresses, unable or unwilling to settle down on a farm somewhere. He's glad to have someone to speak with. He is eating a meal of stale bread, generously provided by the fort. He grins and shakes your hand. I'm Gaius. Nice to have someone to talk to. Nice to see a new face on this savage isle. What is your job here?
Oh, well, not much these days. I've served many years on this isle, and I know much about the savages. That's why Commander Vibius keeps me around. I can give a lot of advice.
How long have you served?
Why, I was a soldier for over 20 years. I even served in the invasion of this isle under Claudius. Oh, that was an exciting time, I can tell you. I suppose when I left I should have found a wife and settled down. I tried, you know. But, well, it's the company of soldiers. That's true companionship. Nothing compares. I'll die in a fortress, a happy man.
What did you think of Claudius?
Old Claudius. Old divine Claudius. He was a half-wit, but he did expand the empire. It was a great campaign. We defeated the natives time and time again. It's only a matter of time before we take over the rest of this isle, mark my words. They still have a Britannia waiting to be civilized. I just hope I live to see it.
The retired soldier sits at the table, enjoying a meager meal of stale bread and watered-down wine. The fort is probably short on supplies, but they won't let an old campaigner like this starve. What do you know of Commander Vibius?
Ah, yes, Commander Vibius and his ever-loyal right-hand man, Decimus. They're two men who understand how the company of soldiers is better than all others. True warriors. I have no gripe against the commander. Good man. He keeps me around to give advice. Not many are wise enough to value the experience of an old soldier like me.
He grins, revealing his few remaining teeth. What sort of advice can you give me?
Well, you know, I spent most of my life around the natives here. People call them savages, and they are, but they're noble and brave in their own way. If you want to know more about the natives, let me know.
I do want to learn more about the locals. He thinks long and hard, watching you carefully with his milky eyes.
Well now, the Brigantes nearby are odd ones. You know, they're a bit unusual. I know about them, and I've learned about some of their runes, enough to read them. I don't want to say more than that. When you've explored the Vale and seen some things for yourself, I'll tell you more. But for now, I think it's best to just keep my old mouth shut.
The locals are literate?
Most of the people on this isle aren't much for writing, not like us. But the locals, they have these weird runes they write in sometimes. If I had an example, I'd show you. But I don't, not a one. You'll just have to find one for yourself.
What do you think of this isle?
Ah, Britannia. Cold, wild, hordes of screaming naked blue savages. I love it. Wouldn't live anywhere else. Plus, I know plenty about the natives.
Very well. I imagine we'll come back to speak with you again, old man. Elder?
It needs a password.
Oh, that's... Did we speak with that guy? I don't think so. We didn't. You meet a small, wiry soldier with long, stringy hair. He stands near the west gate, keeping a careful eye on what's going on around him. I'm Servius. I'm the Tesserarius. Greetings. This Tesserarius is the soldier in charge of giving all the other soldiers the current passwords. He seems very nervous about talking to you. What is your main duty here? Well, I give the passwords to the soldiers, and I keep a close watch on things for the commander. What is the current password? You don't need to know the passwords, it's alright. Honored visitors like yourselves can come and go as you please. As he speaks, he seems to be avoiding eye contact with you. I am an honored visitor. Yes, visitors such as yourselves are to be treated with the greatest respect and courtesy. You aren't sure what he means by visitors such as yourselves, and he doesn't seem inclined to elaborate. Servius keeps watch on the west gate. Occasionally, a soldier or scout walks up to him to get the new password. He whispers it to them, being careful to make sure that nobody else overhears. You are keeping watch. Since I spend most of my time on the walls, speaking with the soldiers leaving on and returning from patrol, I tend to collect a lot of information on happenings in the Vale. I then report this information to the commander. Makes my life more interesting, of course. There's little that's more dull than waiting in the fort for something to happen. You've learned in the past how true that can be. What information have you gathered? He suddenly starts to look very nervous. Yes, just watching happenings in the Shadow Vale, but it's been quiet. Nothing's been happening. Very nice and peaceful, just so you know. Having said that, he smiles serenely. What do you think about our commander? He looks away. Commander Vivius Valerius Rufus, under his second-in-command, Decimus Didius Fulvus. All leaders, good men. And that's all he says. An unusually terse response. Has this been your post for long? No, I was a scout before. The previous Tesserarius was a friend of mine, Titus Vorenus by name. He seems eager to talk about Titus, enough to overcome his nervousness about you. A good friend, but then he... left. Tell me about Titus Vorenus. He starts to talk, but then he stops. He remembers who he is talking to. Oh, I am sorry, fellow citizen, you are new here. I would rather not open my heart to you. I don't want to have to open my veins because of it. Curious. One person left to speak with. In typical, efficient Roman fashion, this soldier is hard at work as the fort blacksmith. Above the waist, he's stripped. Below the waist, he's still in battle dress, ready for an attack. He's bathed in sweat and busily hammering away at his spearhead. He doesn't break the rhythm of his work while he answers you. Clang, clang. Brunus! Clang, clang. Tap, tap. Clang. What are you doing? He frowns. You're clearly an unwelcome distraction. I'm hammering! Clang, clang. On this weapon! Why are you hammering? Clang, clang, clang. I repair things! Clang. Someone has to! Clang, clang, clang. So that you can go out and explore. Do you only repair weapons? Clang, clang, clang. Yes! Clang. People fight! Clang. Things break! Clang. Weapons! Clang. People! Clang, clang. Some fix one, I fix the other. Clang, clang. Have you been out in the Vale? Clang, clang. Blood place the Vale. Clang, clang, clang. Can't say I'm sorry I spend my time here. Brennus continues to silently work a red-hot spearhead. Clang, clang, clang. What sort of weapon are you working on? He holds up the red-hot spearhead with a pair of tongs, inspects it, frowns, and starts pounding on it again. Do you have any blades for sale? Clang, clang. Talk to Quintus. Clang. The quartermaster. Tink, tink, tink. Clang. Okay, well, that provided absolutely no information. Shadow Valley Fort headquarters. The only place left to go. You walk into Shadow Valley Fort's headquarters, where the commander plans whatever it is Shadow Valley Fort is here to achieve. You're still supposed to meet with the commander, who must be in an office in here somewhere. Oh, okay then. Let's see. Odd. The sign has been painted over. Looking closely, though, you can make out the name Appius Arnesius. Praefectus Castorum, Decimus Didius Fulvus. Ah. You meet the Praefectus Castorum, the camp organizer. He's a young man in his mid-20s, surprisingly young for such an important post. His eyes are bright, though, and he seems perfectly calm, organized, and competent. My name is Decimus Didius Fulvus. Welcome to my office. Be sure to let me know if I can assist you. He seems pleased that you're here, although he also carefully watches your every reaction. Who are you? I am the camp organizer. I assist our commander by keeping the day-to-day affairs of this fortress in order. He points to the piles of scrolls on his desk, each densely covered with bureaucratic trivia. What is your opinion of the commander? I have the great honor of serving under my mentor, Vibius Valerius. In fact, I've been serving directly under him for some years now. He's a great Roman and a capable administrator for this fortress. See him as soon as possible. He's in the large fortress office to the east. What can you tell me about this fortress? He seems to sense that you're about to ask questions about the peculiarities of Shadow Valley Fort and moves quickly to cut you off. Yes, Shadow Valley Fort, a Roman fortress well-equipped and loyal in the service of Emperor Nero. He stares blankly at you, as if to say, and that's all I have to say about that. What is your opinion of Nero? He seems worried that you're asking what he thinks of the Emperor. His response is terse. He is our leader. One day I am sure he will be a god. I follow him in all things. You seem to admire Vibius Valerius greatly. He suddenly looks suspicious. It's as if he's worried about your asking questions about the commander. Yes, he is the commander of this fortress and I assist him. His service record is impeccable, by the way. His actions have been beyond reproach. Decimus sits at his desk, juggling scrolls in a marvelously synchronized dance of paperwork. His mastery of logistics gives you a warm feeling in your chest. This order and efficiency truly is what separates you from the savages. What are your duties? I make sure we have enough food and weapons, that holes in the walls are patched, that nothing burns down, that sort of thing. The important, dull details. Little that concerns you. However, I also collect information in addition to my other duties. I can give you valuable help for missions the commander gives you. What sort of information can you provide? I maintain contact with the local brigantes and travelers through this valley. I know quite a lot of what is happening. Of course, that can wait until later. For now, you should see our commander about your mission. Tell me more about the locals. We're in the middle of the land of the brigantes, a large tribe of savages loyal to the Roman Empire. We're fairly safe from the Boudiccan rebellion here, for now. What rebellion? A bloody mess to the east, which will probably be with us for some time. The 14th Gemina Legion is marching there now. I hope they have more luck than our other soldiers have had. Oh, I already went through that. What help can you provide now? Oh yes, your mission, while you are here. First you should go see Commander Vibius in the large office to the east. He'll send you to a mine to the west of the fort, where you are to find a satchel that was carried by one of our soldiers. Just some advice. The soldier actually carried the satchel into the mine. Try to look for signs of his passing. They may lead you to it. What should I do with the satchel? When you find the satchel, take it to Vibius. He needs to see it as soon as possible. Fair enough. Oop. And nobody in here. Papyrus sheets. Okay, nothing me in here. Let's see. Oh. Bookshelves with old records. Huh. You can use it to read it. Well, let's see. You read the scroll, hoping for some sort of clue or spell or other thing to help you out. No such luck. It's just another bit of record-keeping and bureaucracy the Empire uses to keep things moving smoothly. You put it down before it puts you to sleep. Well, that was useless. You enter the office of Vibius Valerius Rufus, the commander of Shadow Valley Fort. As you enter, he stands to receive your salute. Greetings! Glad that you finally managed to roll out of bed and grace me with your presence. He sits back down at his desk. Please enter so that we may speak. I doubt you will be sufficient to the task I have for you, but, well, you're all I have, aren't you? Well, I'll do just that. Let's see. You meet the Tribunus Militium of Shadow Valley Fort. He's a small, heavily muscled man with blonde hair and the weathered skin and small scars that mark an experienced campaigner. He looks tired, as if his command is weighing on him heavily. I am Tribunus Militium Vibius Valerius Rufus, commander of Shadow Valley Fort. It is good that you are here. It is difficult to obtain fresh troops. Those that survived the early days of the Savages' Rebellion are all occupied. But I have you, and I must make do with you as best I can. There is much to do, and I fear little time. You are in charge here. I am the Tribunus Militium, yes, the commander of this fortress. I am in charge of dealing with the local barbarians, and, of course, keeping the area pacified. But then, of course, you are interested in your mission. What do you think of this fortress? It is adequate. Rome has honored me with this command here on the outskirts of the Empire. Hail and thanks to the Emperor. He smiles wryly. Do you approve of our Emperor? Emperor Nero is a ruler of great wisdom and vision, and his handling of this remote isle could not be wiser and nobler. Why, even the revolt of Boudica will be handled with all due speed. His voice has a subtle, barely perceptible edge of insincerity. He may not mean what he's saying, and he's doing a very good job of covering it. You have kept this area pacified. Why, what are any of the forts out here for? We keep an eye on the locals and handle any malcontents. He neglects to mention that Shadow Valley Fort is hardly usual in its remoteness and near absence from any maps. Of course, with the local revolt and that witch Boudica running about, that task is more important than ever, even this remote area. This fort is quite remote. I'd never heard anyone mention it before. This comment seems to make Vibius quite nervous. Oh, of course you've heard of us. There's nothing odd here. It's just a fort like any other. Are malcontents much of a problem? Yes, that's the only problem around here right now. Malcontents, agitated savages. What else? For a brief moment, you see that Vibius is truly worried about something. The crack in his composure only lasts for a moment, though. What do you know of Boudica? Boudica was a queen of some no-account tribe to the east. Now she's leading a revolt which has already claimed the lives of several thousand of our countrymen. Is Boudica's revolt succeeding? A vicious, mindless rebellion by a pack of wild savages. The Romans will turn the tide any day now. I doubt there will be any more than a few thousand more of our people slaughtered. I have nothing but admiration for my superiors on their handling of the situation, and nothing but worship for the Emperor and his infinite wisdom, just so you know. Tribunus Militium Vibius Valerius Rufus, commander of Shadow Valley Fort, sits in his office and studies his papyrus, maps, and scrolls. Commanding a fort like this involves endless work. Tell me about the local barbarians. We are near two villages, Venarium to the west and Nethergate to the north. Venarium is nothing unusual, a small and docile village. Nethergate is a different story entirely. It is of the Brigantes tribe. Normally they would not be a part of the rebellion, but this village is not tame. What is Venarium like? A small peaceful city, occupied by a mix of Romans and Brigantians. There are a number of shops and a good inn. A nice place to visit on leave. Very nice in some ways. He winks. What do you know of the Brigantians? We're in a particularly remote and uninteresting part of the land of the Brigantes tribe. The Brigantes are led by Queen Cartimandua, a good and loyal client queen of the Roman Empire. The locals, on the other hand, in Nethergate are a bit odd. How does Cartimandua rule? A nobler leader has never licked the Romans' boots. Why, in between our needing to send our soldiers to quell the occasional rebellion, her leadership is nothing but inspired. Tell me more about Nethergate. Yes, Nethergate. He seems to be about to speak, but then thinks twice. You watch him weigh the words in his head, trying to decide what to tell you. Finally, he says, it's a village to the north. They don't like Romans. I'd stay away from there. It's not related to your mission. Not at all. Why have I been brought here? Oh yes, your mission. The reason I asked that you be sent here. You see, I need a small mobile group which could work together well. I need you to go to an abandoned mine nearby. There you are to find a leather courier satchel and bring it back to me. This will aid you in finding the mine. I would not ask too many questions about who I got it from. You may find out in time. He pulls a wrinkled old map out of his desk and hands it to you. You can now use the world map button at the bottom of the screen. It will show you where many, though not all. Tell me about the abandoned mine. It's an old tin mine, worked and abandoned by the Brigantes. It's due west of the fort. Walk west and you will find the remains of an old stone road. Follow it west and you will find a mine entrance. The courier satchel is, we are confident, somewhere in that mine. How did the satchel end up in the mine? One of our centurions was carrying it. He was... well, he ended up inside the mine. Strange. You're sure there's something he's trying hard not to tell you? He never came out again. The satchel is still inside, probably on his body. There is a long pause while Vivius decides how to phrase the next part. Be well prepared before you go to the mine. We expect you may find some armed opposition. What sort of opposition? Opposition. Armed, though not overpowering. You should have little trouble dealing with them. Return the satchel when you find it. I have little more to say at this point. As you say. This clean and well-maintained room serves two important purposes. First, it's a meeting room for the fort. On this long polished table, all of the fort's actions are determined and meticulously planned out. Second, this chamber is where the standards for the 3 centuries in this fort are kept. Each standard is the emblem for the soldiers it represents, and losing it brings great dishonor. Fair enough. Oh, is there a door in the back there that we missed? I'll take a look. There is not. Which means I'll be able to show you something that happens in this game, but that you don't really see in the previous game I played, if such a thing is an option. Specifically, secret doors. As you walk down this narrow, dark corridor, you suddenly start to feel ill. Clouds of claustrophobia cloud your mind, and the walls lurch in towards you. You back away, unable to proceed. That was really weird. You've never felt anything like that before. You back away nervously, hesitant about risking further illness. Right, so we're not going in there. Still, as you saw, there didn't appear to be anything there. But you could walk through the wall with ease. Such a thing is very possible to do in this particular game, and this has been a very long episode. As you leave Shadow Valley Fort to begin your first mission, you feel the guard's eyes upon you, silently tracking you as you walk towards the gates. You lock eyes with them briefly and see mute distrust, tinged with a tiny bit of hope. You know what, I'm just gonna run around the entire place like this, because I can. Sorry about that, people coming in to interrupt me when I'm in the middle of things. Bit annoying. That said, I'm just going to quickly run around this entire area because I like to uncover every bit of the map I can see, and I want to do this before we go out. Yep, didn't mean to do that. And... oh, can't see anything more there. Yeah, sometimes that happens. Been annoying, but it happens. And... oh! Huh, an iron longsword in the trash. Who has... yeah, he can use it. There we are. And we'll go sell the sword we got. Always worth it to look in the trash in these kinds of games. You never know what you might find. And... that's everything. Okay, I'll go sell the sword and then we'll end this. Because, yeah, one session, really long session, but it's the beginning. A lot of talking, character creations, all that kind of stuff. It happens. And that said, this episode, well, we found out some things, and some of it is very interesting. And at least a little bit concerning. Oh well, we'll find out more eventually. Next episode, we will head out to do our mission. Till then, yes, head out into the old mine here. Till then, I'm Chester44. That is Julius, Augustus, Septimus, and Octavius. This has been a Geneforge 5... no! This has been a Nethergate Resurrection Let's Play, and I will see you all next time.